Now, we're ready to start coding. So I've been having a look at the rulebook to find the mission I want to start with, and the mission that I've settled on is mission number 5, Smart Grid, where we can score 20 points for raising the smart grid and possibly 30 points if the team running the game alongside us on event day also raises their smart grid. To get to the smart grid, we'll need to drive the robot from the launch area. The launch area is here on the left hand side, or this year we have another launch area on the far side of the board over there. We can launch from either one, and we need to move to the center of the board, to the north wall, and pull this red tab to lift the smart grid. We'll have to pull it quite gently, because if we pull it too hard, it will drop back down. The first thing we want to do is determine where our robot starts. I'm going to start from the west launch area, and I need to make sure that my robot starts in the same position each time. Now I can use the lines on the grid to help, or I can use a piece of Lego to help line up the robot. You'll notice on my robot I've put these long pieces along the back, and that's to help me line it up facing the same direction each time. So for this mission, I'm going to line up against the back wall, against the edge of the table, and I'm going to use this line here to mark where the right wheel should be. Now, having a think about what we want the robot to do first, we want it to travel along here, so I'm going to drive the robot forward, spin to the right, forward, turn to the left, drive forward, lower its arm to catch this red tab, and slowly pull backwards, and slowly pull backwards, raise the arm up, and reverse all the way back to home. When we finish, we can finish in the home area, which is this black border along the side and the launch area together, or again on the home area on the right hand side of the board, anywhere along that black border or in the launch area. Then we'll grab the robot and set up, prep for the next mission. Now, let's start programming. Firstly, I'm going to go down the left hand side to my movement blocks, and I'm going to set movement speed a little bit slow just as I'm programming to make sure that it's more consistent and accurate. I'm going to set it to, let's say, 30%, and once I've programmed it in and kind of dialed everything the way I need it, I can increase that speed. We're going to move forward for one rotation and see where that takes us. A little bit too far. I'm going to halve that distance. 0.5 rotations. And a rotation is one full rotation of the wheel. We can use other measures. We can use degrees or seconds. If we use seconds, the distance the robot travels tends to vary based on how charged the batteries are. I find the simplest way to control the robot more precisely and consistently is to use rotations. We're going to move forward for half a rotation, then we're going to turn right Now we don't want it moving forward, I want it to turn right on the spot. So I'm going to set this all the way to 100, and that should cause it to spin on the spot. And let's try 0.5 rotations for that as well. Not bad, perhaps a little bit too much of a right turn, so I'll reduce that to 0.4. And then the next step is we want the robot to move forward. So I'm going to take the move forward block, tell it to move forward for, well, we want to reach the very center of the table, so I reckon that's 4.5 rotations. Now you'll see the code is still running, the light is still flashing. I can stop it by pressing this red stop button, or by pressing the back button on the robot, which is this one up here. Okay, let's have a look. That's very close. It's actually a little bit more to the right than I'd like, so I'm going to reduce that down, and then I'm going to drive forward for perhaps 2 rotations. Let's reduce our forward moving across the table just by 1/4 of a rotation, and we'll tell it to turn left. I reckon 0.4 again, and we'll move forward. Move forward for 2 rotations. Let's have a look, put that together and see what happens. That looks close. We might want it to turn left a little bit more and move forward a little bit more. And what we're doing here is what every software developer, what every coder tends to do is we write our code, we test it, we decide what adjustments we want to make, and bit by bit we'll fine tune it until it works the way we want. Let's try 4.25 and move forward 2.5 rotations. That looks much better. The next step, we're going to want to lower this down so that it catches on that red tab. Oops, that actually starts in that position, so we might want to move forward a tiny bit more before lowering that arm. Tell it to move forward 2.65 rotations, and then to lower this arm here, we can see that it's motor D rotating. I'm going to tell it to rotate for half a rotation, and we'll see what that does. Let's actually test that here in the launch area. We can do that by taking off all these blocks and just running this one. Motor D clockwise for half a rotation. The code is still running, but nothing much has happened. That's because it can't complete its half rotation. It's trying to move backwards this way and it's blocked. counterclockwise for half a rotation. It'll start right here. And that's actually a little bit too far. I reckon that might even push into the ground and stop the wheel from turning freely. 0.4 rotations ought to do it. I reckon that's enough. Let's put it all together, see how close we are. Close? Not quite. We want to move forward a tiny bit more. And we've gone off to the side slightly. I'm hoping that might just be that I haven't lined it up perfectly accurately this time. So let's try that one more time. I'll move forward a little bit more. Let's try 2.6 or 2.7 rotations. We're lined up, we're against the back wall, we're facing forward, we've got our right wheel on that line. Okay, we're pretty much there, but we're going to have a very difficult time getting that spot on. There's a very small margin for error if we want to lower it on top of that red tab. Now, I think in order to do that, I'm going to make an adjustment to the robot. Oops, let's get these out of the way. And I'm going to add something to the front here to make it a little bit easier to catch on. We can add anything we want, we can design it in any way we want. I'm just going to pop 2 little hooks on the center. Oops. One right there. And one right here. Now if we get close enough, that ought to catch that red tab for us. Now I can run the same code again without making any adjustments just by selecting it here. We can see up here, this is currently called Project 1. And if we look all the way down here at the robot, you might be able to see I have Project 1 in my most recently used. So I'm going to hit the select button and run it. That's got it, spot on. Next, all we want the robot to do is pull backwards, very, very slightly, lift the arm, and then we can return to home. So we'll use a movement block, tell it to move backwards, forward. I reckon half a rotation. And then I want to lift front arm using motor D. So we want D to run clockwise and slightly less than it used to move down, just to make sure it doesn't get blocked. So we'll go 0.35, and then I can tell it to reverse all the way back. We move forward to 2.7, I'll tell it to move back. 2.7. Alright, let's put it all together and get our robot lined up correctly and run our code. Whoops. One more time, same code, and make sure that this is reset and ready. Perfect. We got it. But it reset. It was a little bit too quick. So I think what we want to do now is just slow the robot all the way down when we are reversing. So I'm going to take a set movement speed block and I'm going to pop it right here before it lowers the arm. I'm going to lower the speed down to 20. I'm going to lower the speed of the motor D to lower the arm as well. Set that to half speed. Alright, let's get lined up and try that. That's done it. And well, we're moving back very slowly, and remember we only have 2.5 minutes, so when we can spare a little bit of accuracy or sacrifice some accuracy for speed in returning to the home area or this home area here, we can do that. So once it has reversed, lifted the arm, I'm going to set the movement speed all the way back to 100%. It'll move back for 2.7, looked a little bit much, let's say 2 rotations, or 2.3 rotations maybe. We then want to spin, well, we basically want to do what it did to get there in reverse. So I'm going to turn it to turn right, 0.4, and then move backwards for, what have I got here, for 4.5 rotations. Once it gets back into the launch area, your team's technicians can pick up the robot, adjust it, make any adjustments to what we've got on it, and set it up ready for the next mission. Returning to the launch area, returning home, spot on, but we were not quite there yet with our accuracy. So let's try one more time and we'll watch closely to see if we need to make any adjustments. Let's try and get a little bit closer to that red tab. So we want to move forward 2.75 rotations, just a very small adjustment. And that's it. We've successfully got 20 points on the board and we're ready to start the next mission. Now, on competition day, we can launch from here, or we can launch from there, but we can't pass the robot from here over to there. We might want to program it to drive forward if we want to launch the next mission from over there, or adjust our code so that it returns to the other side. The second thing I want to remind you about is we won't have access to our laptops when we're playing the robot game in our 2.5-minute runs. We're going to launch all of our programs from the robot itself. So what we're going to need to do is make sure we name our program, and I'm going to call this Mission 05 Smart Grid. And that's it, folks. You've programmed your very first mission. You've got 20 points on the board, and I'll leave it up to you to work out what the next mission you want to attempt is. Good luck, everybody.